Good evening. It's Friday, which means it's Sid Says. And today, we said yesterday that we will be talking about our brand new signing, which we will get into. But before that, thank you and welcome to Sid Says. And please smash that like button, subscribe button, and the follow button. And joining me tonight again is a very, very excited Sam Spurs for life. Good evening, Sam. How are you?
Hello, how are we doing? I am containing my excitement, as you can see. I'm just keeping everything under wraps, under bubbles. But yeah, got a lot to talk about this player. I am as I'm lost for words in terms of being able to get him out now. Because, like I said this on our chat. This is a difference maker. This is the key to a different level of Spurs for me in terms of this midfielder. But we'll talk about it in more detail, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, it's that song, innit? I get so emotional, baby, every time I hear Yves Bissouma's name. Because I've spoken to you off air since yesterday, and honestly, people, this guy has not stopped talking about Bissouma, 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 Bissouma. He's just so excited. I think he's also not shocked, but sort of surprised that we've got Bissouma for such a good price as well. And it's just phenomenal that we've got him. And this guy is going to talk all day tonight, all day and all night about Bissouma. So, was you happy that he got announced today, or was you thinking that he was going to get announced? They were going to long it out until the weekend and then do it first thing in the morning.
They can't, because the reason that I don't think they can long it out. One, there's a lot happening in the transfer market at the moment with other teams. You've seen Arsenal signing players. You know, Liverpool have obviously signed players. We've also got more fish to fry, as the saying would go. So they can't really take things too long. I think they want to get things out such that they can move on, and then we can start getting excited about the next player and so on and so forth. Hopefully this is the progress or process in terms of being able to do this up until the pre-season. But going back to this sign in terms of being announced, I'm glad they've done it now. I was hoping it might have got a sneaky bun yesterday, but then Darwin Núñez got announced as well. The Nuno started getting news rumblings about Arsenal, this Vieira player that they've signed. Not Patrick Vieira. I'm sure that Patrick Vieira, they'd love to have him playing again, but he's not. He's done. So this new Vieira that they've got, they obviously that's been touted around. So I'm glad that Spurs just done the thing. They did a really nice little package and got it out there. And yeah, it's great to see him signed up.
So 17th of June, Sam, ladies and gentlemen, 17th of June, and Tottenham Hotspur have already bought 3 players: Fraser Forster, Ivan Perisic, and now Yves Bissouma. That's 3 transfers for a total of 35 million, because it's 25 million plus add-ons, which is going to be total package is going to be 35. Are you surprised that by 17th of June we've already bought 3 players in?
Yes and no. I think we all knew, we all said way before the season finished that having Conte, if Conte was going to be a long-term project at Spurs, he had to be convinced of the project. In the early part of the season, we saw when he, November, December time, he had a bit of a good start to the season, then had them wobbles up until the point he had his meltdown at Burnley. And it was kind of like, right, it was almost like a strategic mini meltdown from Conte to get the board thinking, to get Daniel Levy thinking about, is he serious about what we're going to do? Obviously, then getting the 4th on the last day, even though we did it before the last day, but securing it on the last day meant everything was in our hands in terms of the board saying, right, we've got probably one of the best managers in the world. We've got the best stadium in the world, one of the best training facilities in the world. We're going to, Son, just golden boot, Kane, up to the form that we've seen him in the past. Players developed, improved. Conte had absolutely everything in his hand to say, look, I've done this, back me or I'm off. And I think pretty much that was what was said. And the board, Daniel Levy, Enoch and all the rest of them, have gone along with PRTv being a big part of this, have gone along and now decided they're going to go with this strategy. Conte must have said, I want these players in as soon as possible, get them in. We're on the road.
We're on the road. We're 100% on the road. Yes, I was going to actually do something special now, but if you just bear with me for 1 second, there's a certain gentleman that wants the link. So we need to send him the link. You need to send
Okay,
him the link.
I can do that.
Can you send that to your Mr. 3K, please? Yeah.
Put it
So we'll. Yeah. Do you know what? I totally agree with what you said, and I was having this debate actually with one of them fans next door, and he was texting me yesterday, and he was basically telling me that Spurs are doing the business, but they're nicking all our players, the players that we were going for. You've not done no scouting, you've done no research, and you've just gone and bought our players that we was going to go and get. And I said to him, hold on a second. Sorry. And this was my actual text to him. I said to him, 1 second. I went, Arteta, Arrow, Conte, Saka, Arrow, Son, Kitty Cat, Arrow, Harry Kane, Europa League, Champions League. Sorry, if I'm a professional footballer, where am I going? I'm definitely not going to the first one. I'm going to where Conte, Kane, Son, Champions League is. So I said, you know what? Don't even go down that road, because why would you go that way when you can go the only way is up, as Jazz and the Plastic Population said, yeah? And you'll see in a minute when I play it, but he is so excited to actually come to Spurs. And he did say that Champions League football and the fact that he's the group of players at Spurs, he obviously meant top players at Spurs, and I can't wait to go there. So, you know what? They can do all that saltiness as much as they want, right? It is what it is. People are going to come to Spurs because of Conte and the players that we've got. So it's good. And it's not over yet, obviously. Sid says he's going to be busy for the next couple of weeks, we're hoping. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, drum roll please, we have the one and only Darius 3K. Good evening, Darius. How are you?
Can you hear me first of all before I say anything?
Loud and clear, crystal
Perfect. Mate, how can we not be smiles all around, guys? I mean, we've got Yves St. Bissouma in our flipping midfield now. I'm over the moon. I'm absolutely over the moon. And I just wanted to say on the Bissouma thing, Kieran, Let's Talk Spurs, mentioned something on Twitter, and he said something that was so true. Even though you know that player is confirmed, signed, and coming to Spurs, when you see him in that shirt, it just hits different, doesn't it? It just feels a little bit nicer. So, mate, I'm over the moon. I'm good to be back on. I've been away for a while, so hopefully, like I said, I'm in the current moving out phase of my place, so hopefully we'll be back on a bit more consistently. But it's great to see you guys, and looking forward to talking about our new player, man. I'm honestly over the moon. Very, very excited.
Is your move a free transfer?
Yeah, going back home, making a return home to where Sam resides. So he's gonna have an earful of me probably playing a lot of games and stuff upstairs when he's working. But yeah, going back home for a bit, and then I'm back at University Sheffield in September. So I've got a little bit of a break. So looking forward to it.
Wicked. Sam, I hope you put some clauses in there, mate. I hope you put some clauses in there.
Yeah, paying rent, half the food shop, and dishwasher's done on Tuesdays, probably.
Oh, wicked.
But now because I was just going to say what I wanted to say about the Bissouma thing. There's a lot of talk about people. I guess more so from other fans, more so than the Spurs fans, saying, "Oh well, how comes he's gone to Spurs? Surely, if he's that good a player, Man United were in for him, Arsenal were in for him. You know, what about Chelsea?" Now, let me try and break it down a little bit better. The player clearly said in his first interview, Champions League was one of the biggest things that he was looking forward to doing. You know, he's been at Brighton, been a loyal person at Brighton. Could have probably left there earlier. You know, I'm sure people have been interested in. Spurs have been tracking him since his Mali days. So that's another thing. It's not just, oh, let's just snap him up because other people might want him, or he's in his. They've been tracking him for a while. They missed out on him in January. I don't think Brighton wanted to quite do the deal, but there was talk about him being brought in January. And the player wants Champions League. So if you've got a choice, do you want to go to Manchester United where you have no idea what's going on there from year to year at the moment, even though they've got Ten Hag? You ain't got a clue what's going to happen there. We've seen Jadon Sancho go there and absolutely almost, go downhill in terms of his career. Ronaldo wants out of there. It's a mess. Arsenal, had they got Champions League, different matter. They haven't. He may be an Arsenal fan. We've seen fans before of teams. Doesn't really make a difference. He's not going there because he loves them. He's going there and wants to play Champions League and get paid because he wants to improve his career. So all this talk about, it's because, no. The guy wants to come here. We've got a lot to offer, and we've got one of the best managers in world football, if not the best stadium in the world, as I said. And we're going to do bits with this player because he can only get better under Conte. I'm so gassed. I'm gassed out the world.
Right. Mm-hmm. You've bigged him up. So here we go. Our brand new signing. Here is what his talent is all about.
It's my dream to play Champions League when I was young. I remember I was watching Champions League every day, and I can't believe to play Champions League with Spurs. I'm so happy. Thank you to Spurs as well.
You know who made it.
Listen. Heinz ketchup ting. Saucy, brother. What? Are you mad? Oh, geez.
There you go.
That's
There.
a defensive midfielder.
Scary.
What I'm trying to
Scary.
say to people, that's a defensive midfielder. All the things that you saw there were attacking. It was transitions from winning the ball back, going forward, shots from outside the box, progressing the ball, not even showing his defensive qualities, which are quality in themselves anyway. All the things that I looked at and all the 3 or 4 compilations I've seen, I tried to do more than one. I was impressed with his tackling stuff, but it was his some of his ability on the ball for
me, it's his. I think that's the most underrated
Right.
quality of him is his ball, the actual ability that he's got on the ball and his close
ability
control.
is
He's
mental.
for me, it's almost. I know you were mentioning him in our group chat. You've got Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, who I think is probably the perfect Conte midfielder. But I mean, Bissouma ticks most of the boxes that Conte wants from his defensive midfielder. He's got someone now who can break up the play, distribute, dribble, shoot. He can do everything. And I think the debate now amongst the fan base isn't necessarily the formation we're playing. I think we can play 2 formations now. I think it's who that midfield partnership is going to be, because I think the 4 midfielders that we've got all could rotate in and out, and there wouldn't be that significant of a drop off in quality. So now it's going to be what 2 are going to work against what team better, and we're going to see a lot more tactical flexibility from Conte now. Because if you've got a team like, I don't know, well, Burnley are relegated, but let's take say Forest come up and don't want to play the football that they were necessarily playing in the Prem. Let's say they take a defensive approach. Or, for example, Brighton, who like to maybe take a more defensive approach. Chelsea, who sometimes might like to take a defensive approach. If you need to break down teams, you can do that. Teams like Liverpool, who will pressure you high up, who will do a lot of running at you. You now have players who can break that press in Højbjerg. And I would play Højbjerg and Bissouma against Liverpool. But then against a team like Forest, I'd play Bentancur and Bissouma. Or I'd potentially play Skip and Bissouma. So there's many sort of options now Conte has with just one extra signing. And the best thing about it is it's not the only one that's probably going to come in. I do think that we're probably going to see another midfielder, be that creative or central midfield. I think we're going to see another one come in as well. So there's still Ndombele, Winks and Lo Celso all to sell. So if you think that 3 players aren't going out and one more centre mid isn't coming in, I think that's going to be a bit silly from Spurs. So yeah, it's only up. It's only up.
Well, I think me and you, Sam, yesterday, didn't we? We had this discussion yesterday. We were saying that now, exactly what you said, Darius, you can start off with Bentancur and Bissouma, and then Conte can look on the bench and he knows now that he's got Højbjerg and Skip sat there. So if he needs to change it in games, he can do it. Or, like you said, in the Forest game, you start off with the other 2, and if he wants to change it, you bring them on. And the rotation thing is going to be massive for us, because all the Champions League games, the cup games and everything, we're going to need to rotate players. And now the likes of Højbjerg, even Benny, they might be able to get that rest that they need to get fit for the next game. And I believe Conte has said he wants another midfielder, and then he's looking at a centre back and a right back. So, like you said, it's not finished yet. It's definitely not finished yet.
I think Darius touched on it. His ability now. Sorry, Darius. There's ability now to be able to play different formations depending on the next player that they bring in, whether it's an Eriksen type player, whether it's Eriksen himself to play in that 3-5-2 as a 10, potentially, you know, deep line. They could do other things. What I want to say about the Bissouma and the rest of the players in the midfield, there's clearly, in my opinion, if I had to pick two talented players who've got the ability to do what Conte needs to in that team, it's Bentancur and Bissouma. I've now almost labelled it B&B. And I'm labeling it because you're going to be tucking people in. I'm telling you, they're going to be sleeping night. Them two players have got very similar in terms of their traits, in terms of their ability to be able to carry the ball, their engine. Now, if you've got two players that can do that, but one of them, being Bissouma, is clearly better defensively in that ability. I think Bentancur is probably better going forward, but I can see that, you know, Bissouma's no mug. And the same thing for Bentancur as a defensive, he's no mug. So the combination of those two, if you're going to play a two-man midfield, they're just everywhere. You know, you could have players doing that. They could be one up, one by. They could be going across. They've both got the ability to make passes. So they're very, very complementary of each other because one is more attacking in one sense and the other is more defensive, but they can both do either roles. And that's the most exciting thing. They will run the shows. Harry Kane dropping into that number 10 to make a free man if he needs.
That's why I think we'll carry on with 3-4-3, to be honest. And looking at the you mentioned sort of a centre back. I think two centre backs will come in maybe potentially this summer and another wing back. If you actually look at the rumours that are going around, it seems like it's a forward that we're looking at to get next.
Yeah.
Because the Richarlison links have come through, Rafinha links have come through.
Yeah.
Just recently now, there's two more players. Apparently, again, not the greatest source, but Martinez might be looked at again, but it'll be a crazy fee if they want it.
70 million, Darius, apparently with bid.
I'm hearing 90 million euros. I'm hearing 90 million euros excess. So there's links. And then the other player who I think people should really keep their eye open for this one is Anthony from Ajax.
Yes.
Solely because of the Bergwijn deal. I think Ajax wants something like 45 million euros. I'm telling you now, you guys, if you like Rafinha, you'll love Anthony. It's very, very, very similar players. I just think that. Sorry, I've got
and let you say your point. The only thing I would say, and both you and Sid actually, do you not think we should now be trying to look at A, the homegrown situation, and B, players that have played in the Premier League to get that sort of like, you know, because Bissouma is an ideal player, 4 years or whatever it is in the Premier League. Perisic hasn't, but I think Perisic has got that level of ability to be able to come in. Exactly. Yeah. But if you then bring in a youngster, we've seen it before, you know, we might bring in a 20, they might not play. Gil, we brought him in. He had to go out on loan. You know, Papi Sarr's probably not going to get game time with us now. So it's just who we buy. Is it Premier League provers, do you think?
I think that's a great point. And like you say, Sam, I think it's the positions you choose, I think, are important, who's homegrown. For example, Bissouma, I think we got very, very lucky with Bentancur. I think we'll look back at the Bentancur sign and think how he hit the ground running so fast as a centre mid who never played in the Prem. Massive part to us getting in the top four. Bissouma, I think we all know, will probably be all right because he's in the Premier League. Centre mid's a difficult position to sort of adjust to when you're not playing in the Premier League. A forward for me, and especially with Conte, if you fit the system, I don't think it necessarily matters as much if you've not been in the Premier League, if you're like a perfect fit for what Conte wants you to do, solely because he knows what he wants from his players and he'll get that out of them. And I've seen that now. If you get a right wing back, be that Jed Spence, be that whoever's quick, can put a ball in, can beat a man, I don't think it will be that different if they come from Serie A, if they come from the Premier League, if they come from the French League. If they have the attributes that Conte wants, I think it will be a lot easier and a lot more seamless. But you're right. I would look at centre mids. I would look in the Premier League. If you're going to go for experience at centre back, I'd look at experienced centre backs in the Premier League as well. I think that's a position that Premier League proven centre backs is something that I think is important. Whereas you look at strikers and you say the homegrown talent. I mean, I watched an Alice Gold video the other day, and he was mentioning sort of Ben Bertrand Diaz, who's at Blackburn right now. Chilean, plays for Chile, the national team, but he's homegrown, so still counts as homegrown, and he's only 23 years old as well. So these are the kind of things that you could be smart about. Players that aren't English but are English, if you know what I mean. They don't play for England, but they've been kind of like Dyer. I can't remember who else is technically in that homegrown sort of played in other countries. But yeah,
I'm going to give a name to Sid and you as well. And this is what, and it might, and again, it kind of, people kind of, I'm not so sure. Sterling. I think Sterling would be an ideal player. I know you don't, but I'm just saying, in terms of that whole, it ticks the box in terms of the quota for what's it called, the homegrown stuff. Experienced player that can play both sides. He could probably play. He's played down the middle. Proven at Liverpool. Proven at Manchester City. A winner. Knows Harry Kane well from an England perspective. I just think if there was a possibility of getting,
it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue. I'll be honest. Maybe Jesus would have been better, and that's why I'm a bit worried that Arsenal paid a big fee for Jesus with a year left in his deal. But I think Jesus would have been.
Is that confirmed?
Not confirmed yet. But it seems like everybody says that it's just sort of dragging on fees and stuff like that. I think Jesus would. I can't really argue the Sterling points, Sam. I think they're great points, but I do think that when we're looking at this forward player, I do think it's more important. I would rather, for example, and this might be crazy to some people, but I would rather Richarlison than Rafinha, because Richarlison is a much more capable striker. And if Kane was to lose or get injured, which he didn't get injured last season, to be fair, but if he was to get injured, Richarlison covering as a striker would be better. But then again, Son covering as a striker might.
And that's why I'm not so bothered about that now, because
so maybe I would want a better right winger,
because the Perisic thing fills in all the front line. Because Perisic can play as a 10, he can play across the front line, even a little bit of a second striker, although he wouldn't be the main striker, but can play right and left side. So I think that's done.
See, problem with Sterling for me, number one, is the fee, right? Because they're going to ask for a lot.
I think he's 2 years left on his deal,
Yeah. Will he want to come to Spurs? And most importantly, wages, because he's on some stupid money at Man City. And there's no way he's taking a pay cut to come to Spurs or anyone else. He'll probably want as much as what he's on. I think 250, 300, whatever it is. He'll want as much as that. I know he's got links to London or whatever. So that's the three issues with me for Sterling. Martinez, does he want to come to? Yeah, does he want to come to Spurs for 90 million euros to come to Spurs to play second fiddle to Harry Kane? I don't think so. And apparently, from what I've gathered, Chelsea, if they're willing to let Lukaku go to Inter Milan, they are looking at Martinez as the replacement. So the question is, if they come in, is he going to choose them over us? I probably think he would. And he's not going to play second fiddle to Harry Kane for me. He's definitely not going to play second fiddle. And there's one here that who's put it up? I think Hotspur Sam's put it up. He said Tarkowski as well.
I mentioned
Everton,
Tarkowski
already done Everton.
Yeah. See, and that was for me. Someone like Tarkowski, it's not a sexy name. It's not he's played for Burnley. It's Tarkowski. Look for the qualities. We now got to look at qualities for players in systems that Conte wants to play. And we're playing three at the back. Tarkowski can play as a three at the back. That's been seen. But he's also a very good leader in terms of the ability to. We haven't got a natural dire replacement now because it doesn't look like it's going to be Joe Roden. So that place needs to be filled unless we're going to buy that. But again, if you then, as Darius mentioned, you buy that player from overseas, has two. For me, doesn't fill the quota,
especially with Premier League forwards. You think about the quality of Premier League forwards.
Look at Varane come in with that big touted. Oh, he's going to be this. He's going to be that. He wasn't. Thiago Silva on him was slightly different, but again,
I think he was good. Thiago Silva, to be fair.
He was. I think he was good.
I think
37. 37. That's the experience that he had.
Definitely.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's the experience which got him through that season.
100%.
Right. So let's look at Bissouma's stats from last season and his previous club. So if we look at this one, this is his stats from last season. He played 26 games, 2,111 minutes. He scored 1 goal, 2 assists, and his pass completion rate was 89.7%.
Really good.
Which is quite good. Now, we've already discussed this, but question to both of you, is the goals and the assist a problem, or do you think that he's not scoring enough goals and not creating enough, or is it he's a defensive midfielder, he's there to do a job, break up play, and I'm happy with that? Or do you want to see him score more goals and more assists?
It's a really good question. The only thing I'll say to that is I don't think our midfielders are, in the system that Conte plays, are meant to get goals and assists, to be honest with you. If you actually look, Bentancur, Skip, Højbjerg, Bissouma, they ain't scoring many goals. apart from the forwards, the position that's you want to get the next amount of goals and assists is right back and left back, or right wing back and left wing back. So I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing that he's only got a goal and 2 assists. I was speaking to somebody from Brighton, actually. He was saying, don't let the long shots fool you as well. Similar to Thomas Partey, it will take about 50 shots and 2-3 of them will go in, and you'll see the 2-3 in a compilation and think they're screamers, but nobody's going to show all the other ones that go into row Z, are they? So he said just to be wary about that. He will take shots and a lot of them will go over the bar. But I mean, some of the goals he scored last year was exceptional. So
I don't think it's free kicks. So I compare.
Well,
I look at free kicks. I don't see Thomas Partey taking any free kicks. Thomas Partey's shocking when it comes to shooting. So when you see someone taking free kicks and scoring, I think he's a little bit better in terms of long distance.
Definitely, he's got quality in the shots. I mean, some of the goals he scored, like the volley was, I remember particularly, and the one in the FA Cup as well. I don't know who it was against, but amazing goals. I don't necessarily think it's a problem. I don't know if Sam agrees. I don't know if you agree, but I think because our midfielders aren't needed for the goals output, like say a City or a Liverpool, not even a Liverpool, but like say a City, even maybe Chelsea at times, I don't think it's necessary. So if the fullbacks we get in are good, I think Perisic will get a handful of goals and assists, and I think whoever we get in, Jed Spence again, if that is the player that comes in, I think he will definitely get a handful of goals and assists as well. So I'm more worried about those players getting goals and assists as opposed to Bissouma.
The players that have to get the goals, as you said, are the front three. And we've already seen all 3 of our front 3 got goals, even though one of them came in late. So if that continues, we're going to get at least 30 to 40 goals from them 3 alone. You know, if you think about it, Son got 20 in the league. Kane would have got 20 in the league had he, not had the start of the season. And if Kulusevski would have been us, he was probably going to be close to 15 to 20 goals, depending. So you're looking at quite a lot of goals in that front. As you said, wing back to wing back is the other area that Conte wants to see assists and goals to come from, particularly assists from wing backs to assist the other wing back to score. That's one of his dynamics that you see. If we can pick up goals in the centre midfield from your midfielders, so be it. Great. We've seen that Højbjerg might have a bit of a strike at times. They're not really the greatest. Bentancur, again, doesn't strike me as being a massive goal threat. Nor does Bissouma. Doesn't strike me as being a massive goal threat. But what all 3 of them do well is they can break up play, and the transition from the defence to attack to allow us to go from our defence to attack, which is our Conte ball. There's
nobody better. There's not better. There's not really. I was going to say there isn't much better than Bissouma for. This is why I'm so excited for this just entire season and even the future. Let's say Conte leaves after a year. The team is getting set up well, man. It's getting set up well. It's not like we're making stupid signings. Perisic is here for 2 years, so he'll be gone the season after next. Bissouma, 25 years old. Jed Spence, if he comes in, 21 years old. Quality players. Even if Conte decides to up and leave, if you get, I don't know, and I'm not thinking about obviously the negatives and him going, but we have to think about it with Conte because it's a realistic thing that will happen. Somebody like a Graham Potter would come in and probably be able to get quite a lot out of this team. Obviously not to the level that Conte did, but if you look at Inzaghi at Inter, they went on another title run and 1 game off winning the league. They were against AC Milan this season, and that was without Conte and Lukaku. So if you let Paratici and Conte do something or just do their thing basically and build this team up, I'm telling you now, I think it's going to be very, very, very dangerous just because it's so accurate what we need and we're actually getting what we need as well. And it's just impressive to see, to be honest, because like you said, I think we'll probably have 5 of the 6 or 7 targets wrapped up by Korea. And that's insane to think. So yeah, it's only positives. It's only positives. I can't even come on here and try and think of a negative to say about this signing because it genuinely is probably the best midfield player we could have gotten for an amazing fee as well. He's a £60 million player if he had an extra 2 years on his contract. So well done to everyone involved. I can't be mad at this at all.
So I think we've touched on this. Is his strengths are his fitness, his interception, his dribbling, agility, stamina, bravery, and tackling. His weakness is his discipline. So I think last season he got 10 yellow cards. He didn't get a red. In total, in all his career at Brighton and Lille, he's had 34 yellow cards and two red cards.
That's not bad. You got to think, what position does he play or supposedly is? He's a defensive midfielder.
Exactly,
he's a defensive midfielder who puts in as many tackles and interceptions as he does. He's one of the top So you're going to get some missed time. It doesn't take a lot to miss time a tackle in the Premier League to get a yellow card. So the fact is he's not got lots of red cards shows me two things. A, if he makes a mistake by making a tackle that gets him a yellow card, he doesn't then go and compound that by doing that again. Intelligence. And the fact that he gets to a certain level and he's only got 10, he's not getting 10 and 15 yellows. Because some players you get, there's Granit Xhaka's 10, 12, 14 yellows in a season. Romero's another one. They're going to get banned for 10 games. Or so after getting 10
games.
cards.
Yeah, it'll be 3 games.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For a player that plays in the position that he does, you'd expect him to get a lot more. I would expect him to get more red cards than he has, but he hasn't.
I don't even think it's a bad. Is it really a bad thing though? Like getting yellow cards, like you said, it's the context of how you get yellow cards. If you're getting yellow cards for putting in stupid tackles and irresponsible and irrational tackles, and yeah, cool.
For me,
you look at the cards.
For me, 2 yellow cards is worse than getting a single red, in my opinion, because if you've got a yellow card, then the only reason you should get another yellow card is to do something stupid. Now, you can, obviously, you might have situations where it's the handball, it wasn't your fault. But if you're going for a tackle knowing you're on a yellow card, you run that risk. Unless it's a last ditch where you had no choice. Yeah. I personally think getting 2 yellow cards, particularly in the Premier League where we know going down to 10 men is going to have an effect.
When you look at Romero, like I said, I don't actually care how many. If Romero could get 30 yellow cards for all I care. If he does the same thing that he does in game, then I don't care. I think it's just like the yellow card is just what comes with how people play, certain players play. He's an aggressive tackler. He wants to win the ball back and turn on the ball. If he's gonna miss time a couple tackles, no player is perfect. It's gonna happen. Like you said, Sam, I think it's more of a testament to him as a player that he hasn't got a red card. And he's actually said, you know what, okay, I've maybe been a bit rash. Let me calm it down. And I think he's got the quality to do that. I think he knows that he's got the quality to win a ball back and beat a player. So he doesn't have to worry about, fighting and doing all that nitty gritty stuff, because he's technical, but he's also very, very sort of physically capable of, doing what he needs to do on that pitch. And I think he'll be perfectly fine. You'll probably see him get 10 yellow cards, but again, I don't really care, to be honest with you. So.
And you know what? It also depends on when you get these yellow cards. Like, if he gets a yellow card in the first 5-10 minutes, then he's definitely going to have to... Yeah, you're going to have to be then disciplined, and for the next 80 minutes, we're all going to be on tender hooks because we're going to all be thinking, oh shit, now you know what, he's got to be careful, blah, blah, blah. However, if it's the 80th minute and they're breaking through and it's going to be a certain goal or a counter-attack and he takes someone out and gets a yellow, I'll be happy with that. You know what I mean?
Imagine that. I think you made a great point about sort of the early yellow cards in Sid. If he gets an early yellow card now, previously last season, Conte takes a look to his left and he sees Harry Winks. Conte now will take a look to his left and he'll see Højbjerg or he'll see Skip. So I think if Bissouma if he was to get a yellow card early on, you go make that substitution at 60, 50 minutes if he's looking a bit rash, and the quality doesn't drop off. That's the important thing. That's why I've been so adamant about this maybe just not getting a trophy this season and just securing top 4 is so important, because the squad building that's now going to go forward with this ability to go top 4. And like I said, I think you look at the players that are going out. Lo Celso looks like he's going to leave. Bergwijn looks like he's going to leave. There are players in the teams that they're looking to be going to that we can go and swoop up. And with Paratici, I'm seeing swap deals happening. I think Bergwijn and the Anthony thing is one to look out for. I think if Lo Celso decides to go to Villarreal, I know Atletico Madrid has shown a lot of interest in him as well. But if he decides to go to Villarreal, I wouldn't be surprised if Pau Torres comes the other way. So these little things like that, I just think that we have to keep our eye out. I mean, Bissouma is just one of those deals where I think Paratici probably saw the price tag, probably saw the interest from other people and thought, let me just snap this up and get this done now.
I think it was done earlier. I personally don't think it's like what people think, because the talk is that they went in January. I think they've always had tabs on this player. I think they've had good relationships with Brighton, and because of the fact, and you mentioned it before, I know I said last season, and I've said it I'll continue to say it, a trophy is more important than top 4 over time. When we look back, if getting top 4 does not allow us to get a trophy in the future, because that's all that matters. Getting the top 4 now allows us to get the players, which then tells me you want to win something. We're not just going to be top 4.
And I'll be very surprised now.
Right,
if we
so
don't
get
into finals at least.
So in this next year, 2 years, we have to win. We have to win. There's no, we got top 4 again, lads, and we've got Bissouma. Oh, now we've got this player. No, that makes no difference if you don't win nothing, in my opinion. So now we can go for these bigger prizes. Now we don't have to set our sights on the League Cup, although we should be trying to win the League Cup. The sights are higher, because as I said, I think we're on for a championship. run this year, and I'm saying that we're going to challenge, and I think we can win the league.
I think that World Cup will make a big difference as well. I actually do believe we will be contending if the signings go as planned. I do think, just based on manager and squad alone, yeah, I mean, you just add into that front three, and it's scary to think about. I mean, I can't even imagine if we manage to get 2 centre backs in and another wing back, what that does to the team. I think it genuinely puts us in a position where if we're not, and again, I know what Liverpool and City have done, and I'm seeing some of the players that City are linked with, Cucurella, Calvin Phillips. It's very, very, very scary business.
Let me ask Sid this then, and I'll ask you as well, but let me ask Sid first. Does this guy walk into our first team? Does he go? If you're choosing the 11 tomorrow, does he start?
For me, without a shadow of a doubt.
Right. So I'm gonna say, here you go. There you go. Does Bissouma go into the first team? Of course, you're not going to buy a tractor and leave it in the field for the summer. That Kevin Murray has answered the question. You're not going to buy a tractor and put it in the shed. That's why I just wanted to check. I was just checking.
You're going to
and it's nothing on Højbjerg. It's nothing on Højbjerg either, by the way, or whoever is the person to be dropped. It just means that there's more. There will be an equal amount. I think Højbjerg needs a break. In my opinion, I think Højbjerg needs a break. I don't think he needs to be playing 5,000 minutes for a third season in a row because there's one big injury that will come from that. So I think he just gives players more.
I like Højbjerg. I really do. And I've liked him even more because of the fact that he got better over the season and he really did complement Bentancur. But I look at the two players. I look at Bentancur. I look at him. Bentancur's a better footballer. Bentancur's got more of an athlete. I think Bentancur is probably a better attacking player. I think Højbjerg's a better defensive player. Right. Now we've got Yves Bissouma, and you match him up to Højbjerg. Everything he does is better, in my opinion. Everything he does. I don't know about his leadership qualities, but what I've seen, he was very much a part of an integral part of that Brighton team. Lots of shots of him, well into the group. He's not like a Tang guy or a Steve Bergwijn where he looks moody and he looks like a bit on the side. He's well ingrained, a team player. Come on, man. Him and Bentancur in that midfield. Oh.
But Sam, not only that, right? And you've nailed it on the head as well, Darius, and you've said it yourself, Sam. The fact is now, last season we had Højbjerg playing every game because, like Darius said, he was looking at the bench and he had the likes of Skips and people like that who Conte couldn't trust. So he played him the full 90 minutes, game week after game week after game week. He was puffing and puffing a lot of these games, right? Now, with Bissouma coming in, you're gonna be able to put these players on the bench, knowing if he's blown out that week, game week 1, you can rest him game week 2, and game week 3, he's powered up again and he's ready to go again. So
I was just about to say, Sid, so sorry to interrupt you, but don't you think that this signing might make Højbjerg a better player?
Yes.
Because of, like you said, I think it's a great point that you made. He was looking very tired in some, especially towards the end of some games at the end of the season. And I couldn't really get angry at him. I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, well, he played 4,000 odd minutes this season. I can't really complain that your legs are going. So I think this actually will make Højbjerg a better player because it will allow him to recover. It will allow him to sort of put all of his effort into the games that he will be playing. So I think great point, Sid. Great point.
Other thing that I want to mention as well, those 4 midfielders, Bissouma, 25, Højbjerg, 25, Bentancur, 25 or 24, Skip, 21,
22,
20, or 22. All under or around about the 25 and under.
It's not even their prime. It's 4 years off their prime.
For a midfielder, this is still, you're still quite young.
It's 5 years off their prime.
Exactly.
But obviously, football is developing a lot earlier. But what I'm saying is, at 25, it's no way you say, no, he's only when we got 2. You shouldn't even be at your best. And this is why I'm looking forward to seeing what Conte does with all 4 of these players over pre-season, because he hasn't had a pre-season with any of them.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Go on.
Do you think Conte will favour a partnership? Do you think what Conte will do is favour a 2 and play them every game, and then obviously if there's injuries or anything, then he will switch? Or do you think he will tactically change the double pivot every week based on who he's playing?
I'll let Sid go first on that one.
I think he'll have a favourite 2. I think he will. But knowing Conte, he'll play the team that he thinks will win the game against the opponents. So if we've got back-to-back, I think we've got a couple of games where we're back-to-back, like we've got West Ham, Chelsea, or Liverpool, Man United. If he thinks that Bentancur and Bissouma are the two, he'll play in both them 2 games. And depending on where we are in the league, where we are in cups and competitions, I think he'll have a favourite 2, but he will pick and choose his midfield on the game and the team that we're going to play, because he'll want to win every single game. And he's not just going to, for example, if he's been playing them Bentancur and Bissouma for the 6 games in a row, if he thinks now that they're running out of steam and he needs to make that change, then he'll do it. But I think he's going to be a lot of tactical gameplay here. I think he's going to use his brains and decide, although they're my best players, I've got to manage them against certain. What's the point playing Bentancur and Bissouma against somebody who's bottom of the league, for example? Yeah, when he can bring on Skip and play Højbjerg, and they can just as well win the game with them too. So,
and you can always make changes. And like you said,
that was a problem that we had last season. I think Conte went to this, I'm going to play the players I trust, because he couldn't change and affect games too much with some of the players that he had on the bench. I think he could have done a bit more with some of the forward players, particularly Steven Bergwijn. But the midfielders, bringing Harry Winks on, it's not going to help you. We lost Skip for a lot of the
12
season.
weeks. It was 12 weeks.
We didn't have him. So he was reliant on 2 players in effect. So that's why they had to play.
Can I ask you a question? Did Skip ever play with Bentancur?
No.
Not that I remember.
No, I don't.
That's a whole partnership that we haven't even seen potentially could work.
That's true.
Yeah, sorry.
But I'll go back to the point though. If you clearly got 2 players in a system, because this is what I'm saying, Conte has a system, and like with all the best managers, they play their system because they think their system wins more times than anything else. So you see Guardiola do it, you see Klopp do it. To their degree, they're a little bit arrogant, but you need that arrogance to say, I'm going to play the way I play, regardless of what you do. But I need the personnel, if that player's not playing, to come and fill in to do that job for me. Conte tried to do that with our players that weren't quite at that level, but towards the end of the season, because he improved them, we were at that stage. Now, if we get all the players that we want, Conte's going to play 3-4-3. If you're fit, because they've got all the scientists, they've got all the people that they know who exactly if you're going to be redlined. Bissouma, if you're fit, you're the best player. Bentancur, if you're fit, you redlined, no, you're the best. I think that's how you'll play it. Unless we get to a point where you've got a Champions League game, let's say against a Juventus, in the next game you've got a Man United, and the game after that you've got a Liverpool. That's the only time I see maybe a few changes happening. But if you're fit and you're not redlined and you're the best player, I think you play.
You play. Simple. Going on to his stats. So at Brighton, he played 112 matches, 92 starts, 8,255 minutes, 3 goals, 2 assists. Shots, he had 110, 17 on target, 312 tackles, and 203 tackles won. At Lille, 47 matches, 20 starts, 2,327 minutes, 3 goals, 1 assist, 62 shots, 10 on target, 59 tackles and 69 tackle win. Now, we already discussed this. People are going to look at that goals and assists and say, well, he doesn't score enough goals and whatever.
I'm looking at the shots on target as well. That's not really great. That's what the party thing's coming back to say. People saying about his long shots, because 110 shots and only 70 on target is not a good risk percentage.
No, but it's the tackles and the tackles won for me. 312 tackles, and he's won 203 of them. So, you know, they're going to have to mix it up with him. We all know he's not going to score goals, and like you've already discussed, his shots are going to be everywhere. He's going to give Partey company for people. Actually, people outside the ground are going to be walking away with footballs if he's shooting anywhere near Partey's ability. But in terms of his, he's had a lot of matches. He's had a lot of minutes as well. So, like we've discussed, he has got 8,255 minutes of Premiership football. So, we're getting a player with a lot of experience.
For me, it's one of a lot of the fan channels are saying it. You know, you look at your Terry Fleurs, your Mark Goldbridges, you know, even AFTV, salty as they might be, they all said if they had a chance to get this player, there was the only fan channel that was a little bit weird was Armory TV. It was just a bit salty. bit so. Oh, I'm not
You
sure
know what
if
it
this
is?
player
You know
will
what's
fit
so
in.
funny about that? These man were linked with Bissouma so heavy, and I was seeing so many compilations and all this about he'd be perfect. And it's not. And don't get me wrong. I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you guys have heard of the new player that they signed. I hadn't heard of him until 2 days ago. I won't lie to you. Kid's a baller. Kid is
He can play, yeah.
He can play.
I knew Vieira kid that they got is a baller, but they've already got that position filled. Odegaard's already filled, and in my opinion, if they go and get Tielemans for the same price, I know out of the two centre mids who I would want out of Bissouma and Tielemans. I think it's a no-brainer in my opinion. I think Bissouma is head and shoulders better than Tielemans. I think Tielemans' defensive ability is non-existent almost. So he gave away 3 penalties last season. So I think that when you look at even the rival clubs and you look at the midfielders in Chelsea and United, I mean, McTominay and Fred, come on, man. Liverpool, even Liverpool's midfield, I don't even think Liverpool's midfield is that much better, if anything better, because
they don't progress. Again, there's another point, a good point is they don't progress through midfield. So if you think about Liverpool,
of course,
they have wide areas. They attack in the wide areas and the front areas. So they don't really need
it's kind of similar to us, but we definitely use our midfielders more than Liverpool.
Definitely.
I know our fullbacks obviously are important, like Liverpool's fullbacks, but I think our centre mids, because there's 2 of them, they're inherently going to have to work harder than a 3 midfield. So the spotlight's on them. But again, I go through it. I only think City, and I genuinely only think City have a better midfielder than us right now at the moment.
It's only City
without additions as well. Like even if
just think about it, Granit Xhaka, Thomas Partey, and Odegaard. That's the Arsenal's front midfield 3. If you take a midfield 3, one of them, they're paying Partey in a holding midfield, who's more of a box-to-box player, in my opinion. They've got Granit Xhaka, I don't even know what Granit Xhaka is, and Odegaard is their main number 8 player. So again, if they bring in this Vieira, they still haven't really solved, I think, their problems.
They haven't solved with Tielemans either, in my opinion.
So the problems are still there. We've solved problems.
Yeah.
You saw, if you're going to play a 2-man midfield, you can't play wings in there. We just know that. We all saw that last season. 2-man midfield, we were all saying he has to play 3. Now we can say he doesn't have to. He can do what he wants, because he can either bring in Skip, he can bring in Højbjerg. We've even got Papissar to come. You know what I mean?
I think you're going though.
Yeah.
You think?
Oh, man.
Big up to everyone that's joined us tonight. We've got about 50 people watching us. Please smash that like button, follow us, and subscribe to the channel. Doesn't take
at least 50 likes. At least,
I have to get 50 likes if there's 50 people. There's no excuses.
And we've got let's go through some of these comments. Jack Kaniki, big up everyone. Martin Wild, excited to see how we go next. Jack Kaniki saying here, did we intentionally announce the Bissouma signing after Arsenal announced theirs? Bertie Hotspur is saying, big up guys, we are cooking. Absolutely. Clemens is saying we are on our way to win trophies. Eddie Ryan, Arsenal had to do a Danny Rose and Google their new midfield player. Yeah, that's true. Martin Wild is saying here, so exciting seeing us move so quickly in a window. That's so true, you know, and we discussed that at the beginning, didn't we, Sam?
Yeah.
Eddie Ryan, he's a great upgrade on our midfield. Martin Wild is saying that highlight should come with an 18 rating. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Mark Cousins come up with a good question here. Big up, lads. He has been compared to Moussa Dembele. Thoughts on that one?
As close to a player that I've seen in terms of press resistance, ability to move the ball. You have to remember, Moussa Dembele for us, he was a centre forward. That's how he started out, and then he kind of got back, and then he became a midfielder. But because he had that forward ability and that ability he would just shrug players off. He was bounce off him. He was so press resistant. When he got out of the press, he could advance the ball. And this is what I see with Bissouma, the same thing. I've seen so many clips where there's 2 or 3 players around him, maybe 1 or 2 at most of the time. He gets out. Look at the game he played against us when Brighton played us and they were in green. He has so many clips in these different compilations of that game. He was turning people inside out. He turned Son inside out, Kulusevski, Bentancur, and Bentancur, and he couldn't get near him. He ran the show for about 60 minutes. And they probably just ran out of steam because he was coming back from injury.
Do you know what's mad, Sam?
Absolutely.
The same thing that you said, rival fans say about him as well. Chelsea, the people point out the Chelsea game. He dominated the Chelsea game. United game, he dominated both United games as well. That's telling for me. Big game player as well. I think it's very telling. I think this is as close to a 10 out of 10 signing you can make, in my opinion. I don't actually see what's wrong with this signing, price-wise, age-wise, quality-wise, everything. I don't actually see what is bad about it.
And you have to remember, when Moussa Dembele came to us, he didn't come with the Moussa Dembele that left us, if you know what I'm saying. He had to develop. We already know where this player is in terms of Bissouma. But what I'm saying is, I think his potential hasn't been reached yet. And if it
with a manager who can get it out of him.
Oh, man. We are talking a player and there's someone I saw a funny thing on Twitter, and it was from a Brighton fan. He said, you've got one of the good, blah, blah, blah. Conte's going to develop him, and then he's going to move to City to win trophies.
Yeah. I read that one.
I thought that was as funny as hell. But do you know what I'm saying? That's the sort of thing we'll
again, you look at the rival fans, you look at Brighton fans, that's sort of when I see signings being made, I like to go try and chance through Brighton Twitter, see if I can find anything. They're all fuming, mate. They're all just like, they're all happy for the guy and they all think he deserves it because they know he's a step above them. But that's a massive loss for them, mate. It's an incredible signing. I genuinely, just on the question that Mark said here, I almost think he's like he's almost like a mixture of the three midfielders that we had back with Poch in Sissoko, Dembele, and Wanyama. He sort of has qualities of all of them, and it's integrated into this one player who I think, I'm not trying to put the pressure on him, who I think could have a similar sort of impact as, like you said, the Wanyamas and Dembele's. And if you can have any sort of impact like Dembele did, you're going on to be one of the best players that's played for us in general, because I genuinely do believe Moussa Dembele is one of the best players to play for Tottenham overall in general. So if we're already comparing him to that level of player, then boy, and like you said, I think the great point you make, Sam, is you've got a manager who literally improves players. He literally improves players. I think that is probably one of Conte's best qualities, is that he actually somehow managed to improve players in that team that I never thought would even get any better. So if you've got a player who's already good quality, surely they're going to only get better, man. It's a great signing. It's Hotspur Sam says it's a Michael Carrick signing. It does feel like
bloody
a
hell.
bit like
that again. I think you mentioned it earlier, Sid, when you talk about a signing. Michael Carrick again. When we got Michael Carrick from West Ham, because I was thinking Michael Carrick, and he played at that level, and then he went on to Man United. What I'm hoping is that we don't have them similar type things. People like Man City come knocking on the door in 2 years' time, trying to get him out the door for 100 million. Because if they lay down 100 million on the table and someone says it's hard to turn that down, it really is.
I think there's a better chance. I think there's a better chance of that happening with Romero than Bissouma. I think we'll only get to keep Romero for another 2 years max, because I think he's destined for like the very biggest clubs. Like I think that will be the play that we will lose for a good profit, but we won't even want to lose for that sort of good profit. Because
good luck to the clubs then when they come negotiating with Daniel Levy. Then
definitely
put it that way. Our favourite Chelsea fan, NS Sports TV, big up everyone. Mr. Dinosaur is saying Rashford for 60 million. Conte and Kane would help develop him for sure. I don't
half
know.
that, and maybe I might consider it. Yeah. Half that, maybe 60 mil for Rashford.
Not worth it.
Thank you. No way.
I like Harvey Barnes, but not versatile enough, I don't think. Okay. Yeah. Mark Scrumpy saying, Sid, please stop saying backup stroke second fiddle. It's not that. It's a competition for a place.
It's true.
Yeah. My apologies. One small thing he'll need to improve on is his discipline, as he racked up quite a few yellows. Yeah, we've discussed that.
Not a lot of reds, though.
That's it. Yellows is all right. I don't mind yellows. You know what I mean?
Yellows, you get yellows in the Premier League for.
Yeah.
You get for anything these days. I'm not bothered about yellows.
Nah.
Exactly. Hotspur Sam is saying here, as Jimmy Greaves said, people remember me for the hundreds of goals I scored. They forget the thousands I missed in scoring the hundreds. That is such a good statement. That's such a good statement.
I honestly think, like, with the Bissouma long shot thing, like you said, I don't actually mind players taking shots. Again, I don't see the negative in Bissouma taking a few shots, especially when he's playing CDM. Obviously, if he's dribbling the ball forward and trying to take a shot every single time, he'd say something, but it doesn't look like he's that sort of player. I think for Bissouma to take a few shots, we've been asking for that from our midfielders. I actually don't know if you guys noticed, I barely see our midfielders shoot at all. And I think that's something that, even if you take a pop shot and the keeper parries it or something like that happens, if you've got Son chasing, if you've got Kane chasing, you don't know what can happen. Or the corner that follows the shot, you don't know what can happen.
Yeah.
The other point about his goals and assists thing, if you think about it, and that was on last season's stats. Brighton were, apart from Norwich, one of the lowest scorers in the league.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get a lot of goals anyway because they didn't have any forwards that scored goals. So if you expect your midfield to do and assist, his numbers are not going to be there because the team wasn't there. I just think now we'll see whether or not he has that in him, because you'll see the numbers should increase when he plays for Spurs.
Yeah. I think, was it Martin Wilde is saying here, I think we will get a big team pair and a team who sits off pair. Yeah,
that's a good point.
That's a good point.
There'll definitely be, sorry to interrupt you, Sid, but there'll definitely be a pair that play every single game against like City and Liverpool and like Chelsea. I think you'll have a two, like it'll be Højbjerg and I think it'll be Højbjerg and Bentancur, to be honest with you.
You think? I think
you'll play Højbjerg and Bentancur against a big team.
Bissouma's got to play every game for me that he's available.
He has to, man.
And if he's got the, like I said, he hasn't reached that fatigue factor. Other than that, I don't care.
And a lot of the other clubs, when we're playing the teams of like City, Liverpool, Man United, and Arsenal, and people like that, as Bruce Forsyth said, you don't get anything for a pair. Not against Bissouma and Bentancur. You're not going to get nothing for a pair.
Way.
I tell you that now.
Told you, B&B tucked in.
I'm telling you.
Ready.
Cougar 99. Evening, lads. Do you think that Liverpool, City, and Madrid will have those trophies polished and ready to ship to us at the end of the season? It's surely madness to think we're not winning the squad. Right. Before any of you two answer this question, somebody left a voicemail on our group today. Yeah, that somebody is sat in this group, and he said we was going to win the Prem, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the Champions League, and I believed him up to then. Then he went and spoilt it and said the World Cup.
Why can't we win the World Cup, boys? We're Tottenham Hotspur. We just enter and we just win. We're gonna win everything. We are literally gonna play every game. I think Conte is gonna play every game to try and win 3-0. And I actually can't wait. I can't remember the last season I was this excited. I'm trying to, maybe the season after the Champions League final, because we signed obviously Ndombele and this also, but I can't think of a recent season that I've been so excited for to just jump into. And I think we're going to start off. I mean, I'm looking forward to preseason. I mean, the crowd in Korea for Son's return is going to be insane. 66,000 tickets sold in 25 minutes for a preseason game. Oh my gosh, he's going to be like the second coming of Christ. It's going to be amazing. So I think the vibes from the start of preseason, just from that, Son will be buzzing. He'll be happy. I think everybody's just going to be positive vibes. It's going to be a great season.
So, Sam, do you agree? Are we going to win the quad?
I think, you know what? I think we've got probably stats will prove it because it's less games anyway. I think we've got a better chance of winning the Champions League than the league, but I think we've got a very good chance of winning the league because think of it today, and apparently I've heard that Mane's definitely gone now to Bayern Munich. Is that 100%, right? 100%. Right. Okay. So they're in transition. Salah hasn't signed his new deal. Wants close to 400 a week. They've got Nunes in, Darwin Nunes in, and obviously got players in there. But I think they're midfield. You know, I don't think unless they sort that midfield out. Again, I know they don't play down that, but we all know what they do down in Wydale. The point I'm trying to make is, I think we've improved significantly. Because I don't think the others around us has improved as much apart from City. You have to say Manchester City are on
ridiculous. I don't want to think about it. Don't want to think about it. And again, the point I'm trying to make is we beat City twice last season. I know they didn't have Haaland with them, but we know how to play them. Conte knows how to play big games. He's now got the players to play big games. Take care of them smaller games, the Crystal Palaces, the Brightons, you know, no disrespect to them. The up-and-coming teams, the Fulhams, the Bournemouths. Take care of them. Make sure you're up and ready for them big games, and we're going to finish in that top three 100%. And if with a bit of luck, hello. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. You know what, Sam? And this will be genuinely, because I feel like City's going to wrap up soon, but this is the last thing I do want to say. And you make a great point. You've got all these teams in transition, City, Liverpool, even to an extent Chelsea, because I think Lukaku might be going back on loan to Inter Milan, and side there, an entire defensive rebuild is going on in Chelsea right now. Mad. Rudiger, Christensen, maybe Aspilicueta as well. Alonso's gone as well. That's 4 players out of their back 5 that there's going to need to be. So it's not going to be simple for them. And you forget the World Cup's in December as well. So that's going to throw a massive spanner in the works. Injuries could happen. 5 subs as well is a great point. If we're gonna, and again, I'm probably gonna get clipped up already. I know that Nippin's already bookmarked my tweets and everything, but if we are gonna win the league, I mean, the recipe and just everything culminating is this is probably the best league to win it. You've secured top 4. Conte's been here a year.
Would you take either of them? If you won either the Champions League or the league, I wouldn't be like, oh, really wish I won that. I would be screaming, jumping from all.
We're definitely getting clips, by the way, because we talk about winning Champions Leagues and leagues.
But like I'm saying, it's a cup competition that if you navigate it well, look who won the Champions League this year. I know they've got history because it's Real Madrid, but they weren't the best team in the competition. They weren't the best team in the competition. But they beat
Chelsea, PSG, City, and Liverpool.
They beat the best teams on the way to winning it, but they weren't the best team. You don't have to be the best team to win it.
I think and you know what else? Again, I think also the fact that a lot of these players have done it already. They got to the final. They did it. You look at Liverpool, they got to the final in 2018 and comfortably beat us in 2019. So it's not like it's going to be a big nerves thing either. I genuinely think if anything's going to happen that's going to be just beyond believable for Tottenham, it will be this season. If not, I think it is going to be all or nothing. I don't think Conte will try again one more season. I really don't think so. So I think you got to throw everything at this season. I think all the players know that. I think Son and Kane will be 31 at the end of this season. So getting on, this is the one. This is the season. If you're going to do it, it's not crazy to say that this is the season with the 5 subs, the World Cup, the new signings, the lack of improvement from other teams, the transition of other teams. It's a recipe for somebody to do something crazy. That's all I'll say.
Now or never. Forget all or nothing. It's now or never.
You know what it reminds me of? And sorry, unless I know it's the last bit and you only want to wrap up with it. It reminds me of the Leicester syndrome.
Yeah,
you know, when Leicester, everything was working for them, but everything wasn't working for everybody else. And they somehow managed to just keep on that momentum. That's how I see us. If we get a good start, we keep on that momentum. We see what happens with all them other teams. We have a little bit of a break in the mid-season because of the World Cup, and we're there or thereabouts. And then we come back and we plan stuff, and you know what I mean? We'll be in and around it.
Absolutely. Bob, Hotspur TV, good evening. Richarlison over Martinez any day.
I agree.
Yeah,
I actually agree. We talk about Premier League proven, work hard. I mean, basically was a single-handedly reason why Everton are still in the Prem. I think a lot of people discredit Richarlison a lot. I even did that. I even discredit Richarlison. I actually am starting to warm up to the Richarlison deal. Maybe the price tag is a lot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe the price tag is a lot. But again, I'm talking about, it's a third person I didn't think about. You've got Lo Celso Villarreal, obviously with Pau Torres. You've got potentially this Anthony and Steven Bergwijn thing that could be a thing. And then look at Everton. Winks. They want Winks. Yeah. They're the most interested club in Winks. Go sell him for 20. Go get Richarlison and add another 35 million onto that. 35 plus Winks. I'll take that all day. And that equals the 55 that they want. So there's ways around it. And we've got the smartest director and the most sort of wheeler-dealer sporting director that you could get to find these deals as well. So don't be surprised if this trade deal is going out and extra fees being put on, because 35 plus Winks sounds a lot better than 55. And I know you think the same thing, Sam.
Yeah, what's the same? You've been stung if you play 35 plus Winks, because Winks is about £10.
True.
What's the saying about when you're going to sleep? How many Winks are you having?
0, mate.
Right.
Yeah, Winks ain't worth 20 mil. Come on, man. He ain't worth 20 mil.
That's what they want for him.
That's what they want.
They want 25.
I wouldn't pay 25 mil for him.
I won't pay 20. I won't pay 25p, mate.
It is what it is.
Absolutely. Right. So let's have a look. We've got quite a few more people. Bertie Hotspur is saying we're going to finish above Liverpool. Definitely. Let's go.
Big shout.
Any bloody trophy would be a start. That's 100%. Tommy Talk and Ball is saying, big up guys, I'm late. I'm tuning in late, but great show. And final comment of the evening.
Great final comment.
The very final comment, yeah. The positivity, love and support within this fan base got me back from the brink twice. I believe with a collective positivity, energy, mindset towards this team, we will win the league 100%.
Big up, Bob.
Big up, Bob. Yeah, great to see him back, and great to see him back on stream as well, and all the positivity from all the Spurs fans towards him and everything as well. So yeah, you know what, Bob? I'm telling you now,
they're winning it for you, mate. They're going to win it for you.
For you, can you imagine if they won it for you, Bob? You need to be at that stage and final game of the season, and this 100%. One's for you.
Like I said, if we were to win the Champions League, I would be just as happy, mate. I would 100%. Be just as happy.
100%. Right, it's been an hour and 5 minutes of
Flew by.
Bissouma magic. I know Sam's been losing his SHIT for the last 4 years.
It's mad. I
Man is
don't.
so
It's crazy.
excited.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Transfer window's just open. We're not finished yet. Sid says he's going to be continuing more potential signings. Like Darius said, we've been linked with a lot of players. A lot of swap deals are coming as well. So watch this space about that. But as always, as soon as it happens, Paxton Road TV will be on it, and it's live. So final thoughts, guys. Starting off with you, Darius.
I'm gonna keep it short and snappy. I think we've fixed a lot of problems already. I think with the additions that we've made, and I'm going to include Spence in this because he does want to join Tottenham. I think with those 4 signings, that's big improvements. We're only going to get better. We're only going to get better, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to finish on that. We are only going to get better. Any more signings we make is only going to improve this team and should make our aspirations go up then, technically. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah. So I look at it now. We've got big game players now. You got to think we've got Lloris, World Cup winner in goal. We've got Romero in defence. You can even look at Dyer and Davidson, but obviously if you look at names, Romero's in there. Now we've got Bissouma, a player proven in the Premier League, along with Bentancur. I think is going to be massive. Then you look at the goal scorers: Son, Kane, Kulusevski. Son, top goal scorer last season. Kane probably be there or thereabouts for top goal scorer this season, and Kulusevski is going to knock in 10 to 15 goals at least, based on what he's already done. So just looking at numbers of players and individual names, we're beginning to match up with the bigger teams. We certainly can match up with the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Chelsea now, because they're going to lose. Are we going to be able to bridge that gap between Manchester City? But I've already mentioned that we can beat Manchester City on any given day. It's all about them smaller teams. Take care of them results that we didn't have last season. Turn them losses. We had a lot of losses. Keep a few more clean sheets that turns them into wins. We're going to win the league.
I'm very excited.
Clip me up.
I'm
Sid.
very excited. You can clip me up. I don't
care.
care.
I'm going to keep all of you up. But you know what, Sam? As you just said, you can beat City, Liverpool, anyone. I would give it to you any given Sunday. Yeah, you get that. But it's not going to be every given Sunday now because we're going to be playing Saturdays because we're going to be in the Champions League. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but no, we'll have to play. Oh yeah, that's true. Actually,
Saturdays. Yeah.
Most of our games will be Saturdays.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Arsenal will be playing on Sunday and Thursday.
On Fridays as well.
That's a shame.
Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hope you enjoyed the show. Plenty more to come. Keep your social media feeds updated because as and when we've got something new, we've got breaking news, we've got a new signing, we'll be on it always, as always, and we'll produce it to you. So it's been a fantastic show, and it's absolute my pleasure to say welcome Yves Bissouma to Tottenham Hotspur. Sam is gonna have I love you t-shirt. He's gonna be having with all them love hearts and all that.
I'm gonna go dreads like him as well. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh god, shall I dye them blue?
I get the fake ones. I get the fake dreads and wear them like that.
The Deli Alley dreads.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Take care, everyone, and we will see you soon.